Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's me, Queenie Brown. Thank you so much for joining me today for our read along. I am so excited today to join you. Yet last week we went deep into the book. We started with the introduction and then we went a little bit further by starting with Kate's story. And Kate's had a day from hell, y'all. And so, for those of you who watched last week or who listened last week, it was a powerful, powerful start to her journey, and it's going to go deeper. So, if you've ever had questions to ask God about, like, what is the Bible? Why are people hurting in the world, and why is it so hard to read it and understand it, and just all these questions, Kate has an experience with God very shortly that is going to really shake you up. So, I'm super excited to share it with you. Before we get started, though, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. We want to make sure that if you're watching for the replay, please do include hashtag replay. If you are here, it's roll call time. So go ahead and put present in the comments. The reason I'm asking you to do that is because it's going to be prizes offered to you throughout this journey. And I want to make sure that I honor those of you who hang in there with me because this journey is going to be transformative. I know that it doesn't feel like it yet, but boy, oh boy, in just a moment, when Kate gets into this, you're going to see this encounter with God that's going to blow your hair back. So I'm super excited about that. Now's the time to invite your friends. So go ahead and send them a link to join us. Have them go to www.queeniebrown.com. And if you haven't gone there yet, please do go there and download your copy of the self-love lessons so that you can read along. We're going to be starting on page 24 today, and we're going to read pattern. We read for about 15 minutes and then we retreat to the Mother Love community where we go a little bit deeper. We are able to get a little meat off the bone and talk deeper about whatever the concept is for the day. So do join us in the Mother Love community. You can do a search inside of Facebook for that, the Mother Love community, and then request permission. And then when we get over there, I'll let you all in. All right, y'all ready? We're going to start on page 24. And if you recall, just a little recap, Kate, she had a day from hell. She woke up, had an argument with her husband, went to work, got in trouble with her boss, got a phone call that her son had punched somebody in the face at school, so he was being expelled. She had to go get him. She tried to get some help from her sister. Her sister went off on her, slammed the phone down. She just kind of had a meltdown. But in the process, she felt led to grab some things and just retreat. She needed to get away. And so she did. And so she found herself at the base of a tree eating a bunch of potato skins, watching butterflies dance all around her, and she fell asleep. And so we pick up the story right here, and she is in her dream. All right. So when her dream began, Kate was back in her bathroom, reliving the last moments of her chaotic day. As she looked in the mirror, she saw herself and realized for the first time that she didn't look human. She actually looked more like a caterpillar from a cartoon. She watched as she placed her Bible, her journal, the water, candle, tea, and towels into her backpack. She watched herself kiss her husband and her kids. Then she saw herself walk out of the door of her home. As an overweight caterpillar with so many legs, it took her a very long time to take every step, especially since she had to walk everywhere she went. Just like her real life, Kate longed to find a specific place. She wasn't sure what that place was, but she believed that she would know it when she got there. So she set out to find her resting place. It began to rain, and Kate became even more anxious to get there. She reached the base of a tree and stopped to massage a few rows of her aching feet. The rain came down even harder. She knew if she continued to walk in that weather, she'd get washed away by the rain. So she began to climb the tree to hide within its foliage and wait until the rain subsided. The rain continued to fall, and now the wind blew even harder. Kate finally made it up into the tree and found a strong limb that looked secure enough for her to rest until the rain stopped. Take note of that. She went out on a limb. She crawled out onto the limb, and all of a sudden, she began to feel nauseous. Maybe it was the potato skin, she thought. She continued to hold on tightly with every step. The wind blew, and the rain came down even harder. Kate was afraid, and the moving limbs didn't help her nausea at all. In fact, it made it worse. There was just too much going on. The rain, the wind, the moving branches, her aching feet, and the nausea. If I could just find a place to hide, she thought, I could wait out the storm. Began to feel an internal nudge to weave a web around her. She'd never woven a web before. How would she know how to do it? Who would be there to show her the way to do it right? She looked around there and there was no one. She was all alone, still nauseous and very afraid. The urge within her became stronger, and she realized that she began to produce a white substance from her stomach. It was very soft and sticky, almost like silk, and it oozed quickly from her. She had never seen anything like this before. She was even more afraid now. The wind blew and she worried that she would lose her grasp from the limb. And as she wondered what to do with the silk-like substance, she noticed that it was pouring out of her even faster than she could grab it. She began to use all of her hands and feet to connect the substance to the branch. She hoped that it just would stop pouring out of her and she would know what to do with it. Before long, she realized that the silk had overtaken her. It was everywhere and she was stuck. She tried to fight her way out of it, but she couldn't break through. Kate could no longer hear the wind nor the rain. Instead, she heard a sweet, soft voice that was singing. At first, she couldn't make out the words. Then she heard it very clearly. Surrender to peace. Surrender to purpose. Surrender to love. Surrender to God. So, tired from the struggle, Kate stopped trying to escape and finally she surrendered. Inside the cocoon. Kate waited until her eyes adjusted to the darkness inside the cocoon. She opened her backpack and began to pull out everything that she had brought with her. She knew that she had a candle inside and now she really needed it. She lit the candle and now she could see all around her. She looked at her journal, the Bible, her tea, and everything else that she had brought with her. Kate thought, well, since I'm stuck here, I might as well get comfortable. So she dried herself off and wrapped herself in her towel. Then she placed her tea in her mug and poured some bottled water over her tea bag. Then she grabbed her Bible and her new journal. She opened her journal with every intention to write, but she drew a complete blank. What the heck do I write? She thought. Do I write about everything that's gone wrong in my life today? She wondered. No, I don't even want to write about that. Do I write about my goals? No. Do I write about my dreams? No. Do I talk about the pain from my past? No, I don't want to write about that either. Her eyes glanced over to the Bible and she mumbled out loud, well, I guess it's just me and you, God. She took a sip of her tepid tea and spoke out loud. This tea would be great if it were hot. Kate began to think about the Bible itself and her experiences with it as a child. She thought about all the things that she had seen people do in the name of God. She considered the pain that people have caused one another, all in the name of serving God. What is it about this book that caused so many people so much hurt? She wondered. Then at the same time, what is it about this book that has brought so many people so much joy? What is the Bible? Instantly, her hand began to write on the page, and this is what she wrote. In the simplest terms, the Holy Bible is my last will and testament. When someone dies and includes you in their will, they often leave their thoughts and instructions on what you now have rights to, how they would like their things managed. They list every one of their assets or possessions and they decide who should have authority over everything that is, and was theirs. Likewise, the Holy Bible is my last will and testament. In it, you will find your identity, who you are, your authority, what you have rights to, your inheritance, what you have been left with, and your assignment, what you've been called to accomplish with it all. The Holy Bible is a story of a king, me, God, my kingdom, and the king's sons and daughters. That includes you, Kate. It's also a collection of testimonies. It's the life accounts of people whom I've spoken to, interacted with, healed, and revealed wisdom to. It's also an account of the things they said to me, the things I said to them, the things I did in their lives, and their experiences with the power and the kingdom of heaven. My holy scriptures are proof of my hand on the lives of those who've gone before you, Kate. It's a collection of the promises that I've made, and it's a record of the promises that have already been made manifest. It's a reservoir of wisdom that is always offering deeper and deeper levels of understanding. And it is a foretelling of the unfolding of my word in the lives of mankind throughout the ages. The Holy Bible is essentially 66 books filled with love letters telling you of the power that I've placed within you and the reasons why and how you should protect the gift that is your life, spirit, soul, and body. Kate was stunned, shocked, and amazed. All she could say was, wow. She knew that she had never thought of any of this before. Could she have written this herself? How could she have known this? She read over what she had written and concluded that the writing was not hers at all. It was God writing through her to her. Wow, this is just like what happened to Queenie when she described her silent weekend. Could this really be happening to me too? Kate wondered. Kate was absolutely convinced that someone other than herself was responsible for what was on the first entry in her new journal. Then she heard the voice again. The last thing that I want you to do is go to my word and look up this verse. 2 Timothy 3:16 through 17. What does it say, Kate? Without a thought or delay, Kate flipped open her Bible. She flipped open her Bible to the table of contents and immediately looked for 2 Timothy 3:16. Then she went to the page and read it out loud. All scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works. 2 Timothy 3:16 through 17. Kate realized that she read from the King James Version. She looked across the page to see what the Amplified Version had to say. Again, she read aloud. Every scripture is God breathed, given to his given by his inspiration and profitable for instruction, for reproof and conviction of sin, for correction of error and discipline in obedience, and for training in righteousness, in holy living in conformity to God's will, in thought, purpose, and action, so that the man of God may be complete and proficient, well fitted and thoroughly equipped for every good work. Kate was intrigued and she wanted to know more. She started to think of more questions that she could ask God. The questions began to flow through her. What happens when we die? Um, is there only one way to God? How then can all people know the love of God if there's only one way? Is hell a real place? How can I avoid going to hell? What about money? Should I be poor? Was Jesus poor? God, I have so many questions, Kate exclaimed. Kate put her pen to the journal and waited to hear God respond to her barrage of questions. She heard nothing. She decided to ask even more questions. Why do you allow bad things to happen to good people? Why did you create evil? If you love everyone, then why did you allow some people to live in such poverty and depravity? How can the God of heaven and earth be jealous? She continued, now, God, I consider myself to be a pretty logical person, and that just doesn't make sense to me. Again, she waited to hear a response, and there was nothing. Kate became disappointed and frustrated. Why would God start talking to me only to stop? What kind of God does that? She muttered. So while she waited for God to get around to answering her questions, Kate decided to open her new Bible and see if she could find the answers for herself. Admittedly, Kate was a bit irritated that God would lead her on and then abandon her, leaving her with so many unanswered questions. She took another sip of her cool tea. She opened her Bible and then thought to herself, well, I guess I should start at the beginning. And so she did. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the earth. Genesis 1:1. Kate continued to read through the end of chapter 1. The more Kate read, the more she grew in awe of God and his creation. She thought about how science had proved the existence of God and intelligent design beyond any doubt. She even thought about the Big Bang theory, and she paused as she realized that the Big Bang must have been the result of God's command, let there be light. Kate to feel ashamed of the way she acted when God didn't immediately answer her questions. She thought to herself, he's got to be busy working on any one of the other 8 billion people on the earth, not to mention the trillions of other planets in the universe. How selfish of me, Kate thought. Then she said out loud, I hope you can forgive me, God, Lord. God responded, of course, I forgive you, my child. Always remember, when you seek me, you will find me in my word. Matthew 7:7. Kate immediately wrote down all that had happened in her short exchange with God. She no longer pressed God to answer any of her questions. Instead, she went straight to his word. She began reading chapter 2 and realized something very strange in chapter 2. The Bible discussed the creation of Adam and Eve, but how could this be? Did God create mankind twice? She wondered. We're going to stop there and continue this tomorrow. Oh, I'm excited. What y'all think? What did you think about that exchange she had, that first encounter? It goes so much deeper, and I am super excited to be able to introduce this to you. Oh, no. Um, so what I want to do next is I'm going to retreat to the Mother Love community. I wanted to just say thank you for joining me today, and be sure to download the self love lessons and read along with me. Join me in the Mother Love community right now, and I'm super excited. God bless you all. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow at 9. Be blessed. Bye bye.